What's up, Cardfighters? Clarke here from Vanguard Central, coming at you with another Force of Will deck profile. So this is my Grimm control deck. Alright, starting off with the monsters, we have 3 Elvish Priests. Ability is to rest the Elvish Priest and he produces wind mana or will. Good card, gives you advantage, able to block early, like early 300 attackers or 200 attackers. And as long as you have 2 out on the field, or have all 3, you have 3 extra will you can tap into. It's a really good card. Only 2 Tinkerbells. I find this card very situational at times. Even though it can get really big really fast, it's able to be shut down by a duel or any like rapid decay cards that can easily kill this once it enters the field. Like that just kills it. So I mean, I like it at 2 mainly because when I had it at 4, I would find it just having to ditch it in order to find other cards that were better in the later game. 4 Cheshire Cat. So this card is our draw engine of the deck. Like every Grimm deck, it is a staple. So its enter ability is to draw 2 cards, and then return 1 from your hand. So it could be any one. Really comes in handy. It does stay on the field as it's not able to be targeted by spells or abilities. And its other continuous is that if it does leave the field to the graveyard, it just recycles back into the deck. So a really good card. It shuffles your deck. It allows other plays, and you can set up plays like in other decks with like a Humpty Dumpty or any other types of things. So really good. We also call it the Booty Cat. So good card. And then our mana ramper of the deck is a 4 Gretels. So its enter ability is to take a take a stone from the top of your deck, and if it's wind, you are able to place it in your mana area. So this, like I said, is the mana ramper. It's what makes the deck super fast. You see it in Abdul decks or any wind type of deck. This is a must-have in the deck. And I mean, the artwork is really nice as well. So. Alright, then 3 Glinda, the fairy. Her enter ability is that you're able to target one of your own resonators and make them unblockable until the end of turn. So you could have a Piper out and then call the Glinda, you're hitting for 1,000 for free right at your opponent. So it's super good. And also if they want to attack your Piper with any like kill spell, or you can banish Glinda and make them pay another 2 colorless. So that could just tap them out of will, or if they're already tapped out of will, you just make sure that your Piper or any other big card out there stays on the field. So Glinda, very good card. And then I have 1 Little Prince. I found in this deck that there's really no way to gain life. So if you're fighting against burn decks, you're just going to have to try to control the game. And if you're down on 1,000 life, the Little Prince gives you 1,000 life. So I like that a lot. And it becomes really big really fast for every other card that has a different cost in it. So as long as it doesn't cost 2 and there's a 1-drop and a 3-drop there, he's already at 1,000. So it's a really good card to tech in, and I like that. And then I have 1 Ivy Pilot. Enter ability is that you're able to search out a Little Prince if you do pay the Awakening and place it onto the field. The other enter ability is that it rests a target resonator. And the continuous ability is that if the Little Prince leaves the field while this is in play, you gain 1,000 life. So I mean, you can even bump Little Prince up to 2 if you want, just to make sure you're able to gain life in this deck, as I said, because you're not able to. So Ivy Pilot makes that possible. I mean, there are other builds you can run with maining as Ivy Pilot and Little Prince, so really good cards. And then 1 Etna, the Snow Queen. This is for decks that rely on field presence mainly. So her enter and awakening ability is that you're able to rest X amount of target resonators, and you just have to pay the colorless cost, and they cannot be recovered as long as this card's on the field. Also, every time this card attacks your opponent and hits, they have to discard a card. So this card adds so much pressure. As long as it's on the field, you can just shut down fields that rely on field control. And yeah, and it hits for 700, so really good. And then 2 Oz enter abilities to search your deck for a 1-drop spell. So I use this guy to search out either a Crime and Punishment, a Rapid Decay, or a Thunder, just depending on the situation at hand. And 3 Hamelin the Pied Piper. So you can bump him up to 4, of course. I just like it at 3, just because it gives me other options to put in other cards that I like Etna. Enter ability is that when this is placed on the field, you rest a target resonator, and they also cannot be recovered as long as this card is on the field. The other continuous, which makes this card really really shine in this deck, is that you're able to rest another target resonator when he attacks. So every turn you're resting another card. So this is where the control comes in. This guy is the MVP of this deck, to create that control. Alright, onto the spells. We have 2 Crime and Punishment. This is for against Grimmia or cards you just want off the field, even if they're hitting you for hard, like a Mephistopheles, or maybe a really big Little Prince, or in mirror matches, things like that. Then you have 1 Duel of Truth, sorry, just to make cards crash into each other, kill them, wipe them off the board, the control aspect. 2 Rapid Decays for mirror matches, or cards that rely on lower cost cards or resonators on the field. Good card. And then 4 Thunders. Deals 500 damage to target resonator or player. The easy spot removal, where you can go for game. Normally, sometimes I'd hold on to the Thunders when I know I can go for game later on. And then 4 Cakezones to cancel those normal spells like a Xeex or a Stoning, just stuff to counter. And also you draw a card as long as you have a Gretel on the field. And then 3 Xeex, sorry. This card is very multi-use. I mean, you can give plus 200 to your field, or stop a normal summoning or any summon spells. Make your resonators not to be able to be targeted by spells or abilities, or you can shuffle your opponent's graveyard back into the deck, like if they're using Necronomicon, for example. And then lastly, 4 Telefairy Tale. This card allows you to search your deck for a Fairy Tale Resonator, any cost, and as long as you have Grimm as your J-Ruler, you can put them into play. So if you have a field with Elvish Priest, a Gretel that mana ramps you, you're able to turn 3 Piper that's just like super mean, and you're ahead right there. Even if they do kill it, you've made some groundwork to control the game. So Telefairy Tale, really good card. That's why I keep it at 4, so I can hit it and have it in my hand early game. Plus he triggers enters abilities, like who doesn't want that? Alright, onto the stones. We have 2 Magic Stones of Wind. Keep that wind consistency going. 4 Magic Stones of Blasting Waves. Hit those fire spells and to keep the green, I said. 3 Magic Stones of Gusting Skies that are light spells like Telefairy Tale. But I mean, the deck, sometimes it doesn't matter what you need. I mean, just based on like what engine you're running. It's, in order to keep the Gretel engine going. And 1 Feethsing, the Holy Wind Stone. So this stone does produce wind, and if you rest it with a Windstone, you are able to target a J Ruler or Resonator and have them not be able to be targeted by spells until the end of turn. So a good defensive card, keeps your card safe, or it could be used offensively. I've seen my friend use it on the opponent's cards and make their cards untargetable by spells so they don't pump them up. So a really good card. If you do top this card during a Gretel play, you're not able to put it in your Magic Stone deck. Even though it does produce wind and it's green and all that jazz, it just doesn't count. Alright. Lastly, our J Ruler. It is Grimm, the Fairy Tale Prince. Continuous ability is that you are able to pay any color of will for your Fairy Tale Resonators. Also the Activate, which is really useful, that helps you cycle out your deck and get the cards you need at the right time to win you games, is you pay one colorless and you discard one Fairy Tale Resonator, and you are able to search your deck for any other Fairy Tale Resonator. Super good card, helps you search out, like I said, the monsters you need anytime, anywhere, and that's why I really love this deck, because of the multi uses and like the flexibility it has, because everything is paid for easily with any color cost. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Like our videos, comment if you have any questions. Vanguard Central out.